Welcome back to Mornings on 2. What a cool, quiet look across the bay. We see that sun breaking through those clouds. We are much drier than we were this time. Yesterday, as we were fighting our way through puddles and ponding on the road. It's a much quieter weather pattern, at least for now, but there are some changes ahead. Our Steve Paulson is in the Weather Center, and he'll detail that in just a minute. Investigations into more than a dozen cases of botulism are centered around the same brand of infant formula.
Yeah, at least 15 babies have been hospitalized since August. All of them were fed formula from the company ByHeart. This week, ByHeart had a nationwide recall of all of its baby formula. The FDA says lab tests showed their infant formula might be contaminated with the bacteria that causes botulism.
She was declining, she was refusing the bottle, and my thought was that she just needed to drink and eat, and that's why she was losing her weakness, or she was getting more weak. But then I came home from work and she was sleeping, and went to pick her up to feed her, and I couldn't wake her up.
Now, at least 2 families are suing the baby formula company. They're accusing it of negligence. The FDA says this recall will not trigger a shortage of formula. Time now 7:25. New research finds a connection between stress and Alzheimer's disease. The CDC's been warning that long-term stress can increase the risk of high blood pressure, heart disease, even strokes. And now new research from Pennsylvania State University reveals stress could lead to Alzheimer's and dementia. The doctors say reduced blood flow in the brain is a main characteristic found in people who are affected.
This is a sort of a good motivator to try to keep the stress in your life under control.
Now, while studying the brain activity of mice, the researchers found a rare neuron that helped to regulate blood flow in the brains of those animals. Time's now 7:26. Shutdown pain and political gain. The reward being promised to some TSA workers, and why critics call it damage control.
The U.S. birth rate is hovering near historic lows. What a new survey reveals as the top reasons for the downsizing of American families.
I used to dig in the tunnels for them. I used to just, everything they used to tell me to do, I used to do. And this was my way to kind of survive.
From total darkness to pure joy, how a former hostage of Hamas is turning his worst nightmare into a mission of hope. And a newly appointed San Francisco supervisor resigns from her job after just 1 week. The damaging messages from her former business that ended a term before it even started.
From KTVU Fox 2 News, this is Mornings on 2.
Well, good morning to you and welcome to Mornings on 2. I'm Dave Clark.
I'm Garcia Michaelian. It's a busy Friday, November 14th, but weather is a lot calmer than we were this time yesterday. We are by no means done with the rain, though, right, Steve?
Not at all. The good news is we get the rain, but the bad news was there really wasn't much in the way of snow up in the mountains. Just heard from Steve Bridges up at the Keys, the beautiful Keys there. An inch of rain. An inch of rain. Anyway, we'll get a mix of sun and clouds today. Temperatures a little cooler. They'll settle in the 50s here, and then we'll end up with 60s on the temps. Moisture from the south will be the one to watch. That's kind of the area that I think the focus if any rain moves in today. But we'll get a little bit more sun today, and it'll be much quieter, that's for sure. But see how that moisture is creeping up? So Monterey Peninsula, Santa Cruz, Santa Clara Valley, San Jose, Altamont Pass, maybe you can see it's getting closer and closer. I think there'll be a big surge on this as we go into the weekend. There's some big-time projections here as the upper low is just pounding Southern California. Now, not too much today, but watch what happens as we go into Saturday. Look at this. Watch this moisture coming up, and especially into Sunday, and then taking us into Sunday morning. That's a lot of rain if it verifies. There'll be another system from the north on Monday. A more quiet storm, though, today. Temperatures, mix of sun and clouds, patchy fog. Could be some rain, especially south. Temperatures pretty close to where they should be, 60s. All right, south's here, 7:31. I know it's better than yesterday. Still okay?
Yeah, it's okay, I would say. You know, it's not as light as we've seen some Fridays. And I have a little theory for that, or hypothesis for that, I should say. It's backed up at the Bay Bridge, for example, like a normal Thursday. I think people just switched Friday and Thursday. They're going into the office today. They didn't want to drive yesterday in the rain. I don't blame them. There are a lot of problems yesterday. Today, it's dry and sunny, and the commute's a little better. It's still a little lighter than usual. The Richmond Bridge still has that that stall, or the remnants of the stall, westbound. That means, what I mean by that is still very slow across the span because of that earlier stalled vehicle. 7:32, let's go back to the desk.
Thank you, Sal. San Francisco Mayor Daniel Lurie is now searching for a new supervisor to represent the Sunset District.
Yeah, Mayor Lurie's first appointment for a supervisor just resigned. KTVU's James Torres is in the Sunset District with the details of the criticism facing Bea Alcarez and her decision to step down. Good morning, James.
And good morning to you, Dave. Bea Alcarez was set to become one of the youngest supervisors to serve on the board and the first Filipina American. But now that short potential legacy is overshadowed by some text messages revealed between Alcarez and the owners of a pet shop that she used to own. This is all information that's coming out of reporting from Mission Local and the SF Standards. The new owners of this pet shop accused Alcarez of leaving the store in bad shape when she handed it over, saying it was full of dead mice. And they say Alcarez also admitted to paying employees under the table and taking other measures in an attempt to cut down on her taxes. As she resigned, she released this statement saying, in part, "I believe my community deserves someone who will work 24/7 to advocate for us, and I understand that today's news stories would distract me from doing that." Alcarez was appointed by Mayor Daniel Lurie just about a week ago, all to replace the recalled Joel Engardio. He says that he respected her will to step up to the role just as much as he now respects her ability to step aside. He added a statement saying, in part, "She and I agreed, as we always have, that the Sunset deserves a supervisor who is fully focused on serving the community. We also agreed the new information about her conduct while running her small business, which I learned today, would be a significant distraction from that work." The mayor went on to say that he regrets not doing more to make sure that she could succeed. He is now tasked with appointing someone else to take the job. There's no word on who the next candidate could be, nor how soon that decision will be made. We're live this morning in San Francisco. I'm James Torres, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
James, thank you. A former Israeli hostage who spent more than 500 days in captivity is sharing his story. Omer Shem Tov was held captive by Hamas for 505 days. He was taken from the Nova Music Festival on October 7th of 2023. Tov says he was kept in tunnels, given little to no food, and forced to work for Hamas. He says his faith and family gave him strength throughout his captivity.
It was 120 feet underground. It was a small cell that I couldn't stand up inside of, and I couldn't spread my arms out. I was in complete darkness. There are days that I'm breaking completely, but the thing that kept me mostly strong is my family, you know, knowing that they're home, they're waiting for me.
He said he had to cook and clean for his captors and do anything else they wanted. Hundreds came to see him speak at an event in Sacramento yesterday. He was released and reunited with his family as part of a ceasefire hostage exchange.
Our time now 7:35. Civil liberty groups are suing the Trump administration over what they call inhumane conditions at an immigration detention center in Kern County. The former private prison is being run by a contractor, Core Civic. The lawsuit says the conditions include dirty housing units, inadequate food and water, very cold temperatures, and inadequate medical care. They also say the detainees are being denied access to lawyers with week-long delays for legal calls.
For the first time since President Trump ordered enhanced immigration enforcement, a federal judge has gone behind the scenes to inspect an immigration detention center. The Chicago ICE processing facility is at the center of a class action lawsuit about the treatment of detainees. The judge and a handful of attorneys representing some ICE detainees spent more than 4 hours at the facility.
This is super rare, and I think it just underscores the importance of the case. I think this is a highly skeptical judge with very good reason ordering an extraordinary tour of the facility to find out what's really going on the ground.
The lawsuit alleges deplorable conditions and claims detainees have no contact with attorneys. Last week, as part of the case, a judge ordered the government to fix that. The Department of Homeland Security has pushed back against the allegations, calling them a hoax.
Time now 7:36. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem announced a $10,000 bonus for TSA employees who did not stop working during the government shutdown. Now, Homeland Security Secretary Noem says the bonus will be paid sometime next week, along with back pay using carryover funds from the 2025 fiscal year. Now, she's been facing pushback during the shutdown after the Department of Homeland Security played videos of the secretary blaming the government shutdown on Democratic lawmakers.
New this morning, a new survey finds a growing number of Americans say raising children is unaffordable, and that's contributing to a drop in the birth rate. A Brigham Young University study found finances and inflation are the major factors in determining family size. 7 in 10 adults say they can't afford to raise children, a 13% jump from last year. The research found most parents say finances are a key factor in whether or not to have children or to limit the size of their families.
It's 7:37, almost 7:38, and we're looking at Interstate 80 westbound. It's slow, and also the Richmond Bridge is slow. They finally got that stalled SUV off the bridge. It's going to take a little while for it to get better. Southbound 101 near Freitas Parkway, there was a crash in Marin. We're backed up from Highway 37, and Highway 4 is slow this morning, typically slow. It's not as light as it normally is on a Friday. However, is also not as terrible as it would be, let's say, on a Wednesday. This is about a 20-minute delay at the Bay Bridge, and I do believe that more people are going today, and fewer people went yesterday because of the change in weather. See, it's nice and sunny at the Bay Bridge. 7:38, speaking of sun and weather, here's the man who knows. It's Mr. Steve Paulson.
Who came in? Thank you, Sal. Appreciate that. We do get a break today. Some low clouds around, some patchy fog, but overall looks pretty good. South, different story. Santa Clara Valley, Monterey, area, watch out. Salinas, and you can see some of that moisture creeping up. Always makes me nervous, and there will be a bigger surge on that going into Saturday night, Sunday. There could be some pretty good totals coming in South Bay and maybe East Bay as we go into the weekend here. Today, though, if you're north, you're good to go. If you're south, you don't have to worry, but that upper low forming is really funneling in some deep moisture in Southern California. We're okay today, not much. Then watch what happens we head into Saturday. Here comes that surge of moisture. Now, again, this is just one forecast model, but I've seen another one do almost the exact same thing by Saturday night. And then look what's happened Saturday night into Sunday. That would be a massive total if San Jose even got close to that. They have a better chance to getting that than they did from the last system because they get that rain shadow, but that could be a lot of moisture. The system to the north then comes in to up the totals in the North Bay, and that'll be on Sunday night into Monday. There are some scary totals being advertised statewide here, especially Central and Southern California, next 7, 10 plus days. So we're not done yet. We'll get more moisture on the weekend, and we'll get some on Monday, and maybe a week from today is the way it looks. Mix of sun and clouds, only patchy fog, some rain possible, mainly south, 60s on those temps.
Thank you, Steve. The Sierra is expecting its first major snowfall over the next week, just in time for ski resorts planning to open right around the Thanksgiving holiday.
Get your hot chocolate ready.
Yes, and my magazines.
And, a lot of Bay Area residents are already thinking about their plans for the winter, and we want to hear from you as well. Let's go to KTVU's Andre Sr. He's over here with our viewer poll of the day.
Yeah, Dave, Gossi, good morning to you both. This morning we're asking, what's your favorite activity in the snow? Your options are skiing, snowboarding. We also have sledding or hanging out at the lodge, which would require magazines and hot chocolate. 63% of you agree with Gossi this morning. 25% of you say sledding. 12% of you say snowboarding. No one's saying skiing yet, but I'm sure that'll change at some point. Go to ktv.com/vote. Let us know what you think about our question of the day.
And you do both, right? You ski and board, or you have skied and board?
Yes, I have.
Okay, all right. Okay, there you go. So someone's skiing.
I'll ski if you do.
No, I'll be in the lodge.
Okay, me too. As we go to break, let's take one more last look at the poll. And don't forget, you can start voting now. Scan the QR code in the top right-hand corner of your screen. It'll take you to our poll.
Caltrans may be changing a 70-year-old rule that bans trucks on Interstate 580 between Oakland and San Leandro. Caltrans is expected to study traffic patterns, examine racial equity, and conduct health assessments. This includes how to look at current highway practices and how they've led to higher asthma rates in historically disadvantaged neighborhoods where trucks are allowed, such as the 880 corridor. The proposal is still in the research phase.
Our time now 7:44. Guess what? Brock Purdy will be the 49ers starting quarterback this Sunday when they play the Cardinals in Arizona. Purdy has missed most of the season because of a turf toe injury. The last time he started was back on September 26. And also coming back this Sunday, wide receiver Ricky Pearsall, who had a knee injury. And don't forget, you can see the 49ers play the Arizona Cardinals right here on KTVU Fox 2, 1 o'clock Sunday afternoon. Well, investigators from the Department of Justice visited the UC Berkeley campus after those protests Monday night. They're investigating claims that protesters tried to interfere with the Turning Point USA event on the campus. The Trump administration called in the FBI and the U.S. Attorney as part of a mission to crack down on political violence.
Whether you're on the conservative end of the spectrum or the liberal end of the spectrum and anywhere in between, we're here to protect your right.
Now, federal officials noted the flyers around the campus and the posts online as evidence that protesting groups are trying to suppress free speech at that conservative event. It was organized by the group that was founded by the late Charlie Kirk. The FBI set up a digital tip line. They asked anyone with information about violence during that protest.
The U.S. Justice Department has joined a Republican lawsuit to block new congressional district boundaries approved by California voters last week under Prop 50. Attorney General Pam Bondi said in a statement, California's redistricting scheme is a brazen power grab that tramples on civil rights. The measure changes congressional boundaries to give Democrats an edge in 5 districts held by Republicans. At least one legal expert says she doesn't think the DOJ's argument will stand up in court.
The real problem, I think, for this suit is that Prop 50 was always designed as being about partisan affiliation and very explicitly was designed to say, we want to try and get more Democrats in the House. That's what people voted on, and that was really the impetus behind Prop 50.
Professor Levinson said the state of California is likely to argue there is no racial component and will seek to have the case dismissed. We're hearing from Democrats at the nation's capital upset that the United States is not being represented at the COP30 climate summit in Brazil. Congresswoman Nancy Pelosi is among a group of lawmakers criticizing the Trump administration and Republicans for not attending this year's summit. They say America's absence from the climate conference sends the wrong message at a time U.S. leadership matters most across the world.
The world continues to understand the difference between Donald Trump and the American people. Climate action from America continues even this week in Brazil. There's a reason that my governor, Gavin Newsom, is being welcomed as kind of a rock star in Brazil this week. The world still needs and wants American leadership.
The Trump administration criticized the climate summit, calling it a hoax. 7:47, we're getting new information on how the current economy is affecting working families in particular.
And Pam Cook is here in the studio now with today's dollars and cents. Pam?
Yes, it's really been a tough time, especially during the shutdown. I just received a new report from resumetemplates.com. Their site shows 2/3 of people they surveyed who are already working full-time are taking on extra work this holiday season in order to pay for gifts, holiday meals, and travel. That report also says about 1/3 of people surveyed say they are struggling more this year because of the loss of government benefits during the shutdown. As that opening bell rang this morning, the selling continued on Wall Street, especially in the tech stocks. The Dow hit a new high this week, crossing 48,000 for the first time. But this morning, it dropped more than 400 points right when that bell rang. And just a little interesting trivia in history. On this date, in 1972, the Dow closed at 1,000 for the first time. As we take a live look At the Dow, it is now at 47,164. It has come back a little bit from the big loss right when the bell rang. Still down almost 300 points, though. The S&P 500 down a little bit. The Nasdaq has actually turned positive, and a lot of analysts saying that big sell-off in tech stocks also offers an opportunity to buy because many of those companies still have very good fundamentals. Toy makers are getting in on the blind box trend leading up to the holidays. Blind boxes or mystery boxes became popular with toys like Labubu's, where consumers don't know which version of a series they're getting until they open the box. Target's expanding blind box options, and analysts expect them to be a big seller because they do appeal to adults and kids. Other collectibles like Pokemon trading cards are also popular this year. And Walmart announced today its longtime chief executive is stepping down. The world's largest retailer says CEO Doug McMillon will retire in January, but will remain on Walmart's board until at least the next annual shareholder meeting. He will be replaced by John Furner, who is currently in charge of Walmart's U.S. division. Walmart, by the way, has one of the largest workforces in the country. And another new report on the nation's economy found roughly 1 out of every 4 American households are now living paycheck to paycheck. The Bank of America survey found rising consumer costs combined with low wages are making it increasingly difficult for many families just to pay their bills. The study also found America's lower and middle income households are feeling the most economic pain from inflation. I'm Pam Cook. That's a look at your dollars and cents.
All right, Pam, thank you. 7:50. And the Bay Bridge, we're going to go right to it because it is a little bit busy for a Friday, but it is getting better. You can see the end of the line. And when you start seeing this, the end of the line, which is right there near the parking lot, you will most likely start seeing improvement in the 8 o'clock hour. So, I don't know, another 20 minutes or so, we should be done with this if nothing happens. Highway 4 and 680 are looking kind of normal-ish. And the Richmond Bridge is finally improving after we had a stalled SUV up there for a while. It finally is gone. 7:50. Let's go back to Steve.
Sal, David Coverdale, White Snake, Deep Purple, lives up in Tahoe. Announced his retirement yesterday.
Oh, do musicians ever retire, though, really?
He's retiring.
Okay.
Anyway, but maybe he's watching, but all the best. All the best there. Right. All right, we'll get to it here. We do have, you always, Stormbringer coming when there's snow up in the mountains, so it's always cool to watch. We get more sun today. Look at this. Look at that. Yeah, temperatures will rebound only a little bit because there's some cooler air field. This was not a cold system by far, but there are 2 more in the pipeline that look much colder late Sunday to Monday. But before we get there, we'll have to deal with another system coming in Saturday from the south, the same one that we had yesterday. I'm going to say partly sunny, partly cloudy, although areas south could easily get in on some rain here. It's just, oh boy, it's a tricky forecast here. Developing low offshore, sending in some of this moisture going south to north. Look at that. So, you know, San Jose, Santa Clara Valley, Santa Cruz Mountains, Altamont Pass, East Bay. I'll mention this. It looks more likely over the weekend than today, but it's so close. A lot of this, though, is just sending wave after wave into Southern California. They're going to get a lot of rain down there. We watch how this comes up from the south. A couple of forecast models are already showing this on Saturday afternoon, evening into Sunday. That would be a lot of rain. Then here comes the next system from the north, which will up the totals in the North Bay on Sunday night into Monday. So plenty going on here. But today is more of a quiet storm, if you will. Mix of sun and clouds, patchy fog, some rain possible, mainly south. Temps near average. They've been above for so long. Today, though, we'll get 60s on those highs, Dave.
All right, Steve, thank you. Time now 7:52. The rates for high school graduation in California hit a high mark. While some say learning gaps are still wide, despite the better news about diplomas. Welcome back to Mornings on 2 at 7:55 tonight. Hundreds of people will gather in Santa Rosa for the annual High Heels for Hope fundraiser. It supports the Zane Templin Foundation. The mission is to spread awareness about mental health challenges. The foundation was started by the family of Zane Templin of Santa Rosa, who was only 24 years old when he died by suicide in 2016. The gala tonight features a dinner, a live auction, and dancing.
There are still people who are fearful about stepping forward to share their experiences of mental health conditions because they don't want to be judged or they feel shamed or blamed because of it. And that's part of our work, is making clear that there is no blame. Mental health conditions don't happen because somebody did something wrong.
Now, again, tickets are still available, and it'll take place tonight at the Flamingo Resort and Spa in Santa Rosa. KTVU's own Heather Holmes will be there as the MC. And just a reminder, you can call or text the National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline at 988. It's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Time now 7:57. The federal government is now reopened, but the battle between Democrats and Republicans over affordable health care, that is far from over. Progressives continue to criticize moderate Democrats, saying they caved in to Republicans over health care subsidies. Part of the deal to open the government was a promise to hold a vote in the Senate sometime next month. Some Democrats say the government shutdown was worth it, because now the country and the president are talking about health care. Others say, nah, they didn't get anything out of it.
Was it worth it? You have to start the process by trying. You have to allow an opportunity to talk.
The Republicans would demand a lot of reforms before anything like that was ever possible.
Now, the end of the shutdown means plenty of federal employees are going back to work. Federal workers say they're relieved to have that uncertainty around their livelihood come to an end.
I'm excited. I enjoy what I do, so it's good to get back. Like I said, I enjoyed the time off, but I enjoy what I do, so it's good to get back and start working on some of my some new projects and some old projects that I had started.
Now, part of the agreement that was reached between Republicans and Democrats to reopen the government includes a provision to reverse an attempt by the Trump administration early in the shutdown to fire thousands of federal employees. Time is 7:58. California making strides in education post-COVID and post-distance learning. Governor Newsom's office unveiled some new figures showing high school graduation rates hit their highest point in years. The California school dashboard that shows the graduation rate is now at more than 87%, the highest since that dashboard launched in 2017. The governor says his administration has made significant investments and reforms in public education through efforts that include universal meals and reading specialists.
Our only purpose as parents and coaches is to make the next generation better, and he's done it over and over and over again.
Gratitude and grief gripping those whose lives were touched by a coaching legend. John Beam shot on the Laney College campus in Oakland. A live report on the search for the shooter this morning. And from Wall Street diners to a White House remodel during a shutdown, why critics say the president's elite pivot is widening a rift with supporters. Plus,
holidays are approaching. We know families need our support even more.
well, the shutdown is over, but the hunger crisis in California ramping up. How local food banks are responding to a looming food shortage.
From KTVU Fox 2 News, this is Mornings on 2.
Welcome to Mornings on 2 at 8. You're looking live at the Golden Gate Bridge. The water, the sun is out. Much different scene than what we saw yesterday. Question is, will it stick around? Thanks for joining us. I'm Andre Sr.
Good morning. I'm Gaskia Michaelian. It's a busy Friday, November 14th. The weather looks and feels completely different than at this time yesterday. Steve Paulson is here with how things are clearing up.
Well, they're good and bad. How's that?
Okay.
Yes. There's a lot of moisture coming up from the south. Hollister, Gilroy, Santa Cruz Mountains, Santa Clara Valley, even out towards, I think, Fremont, the Altamont Pass, Livermore. this is a really tough forecast. I mean, so that's the main focus. If you're north, I think you're okay, but a lot of this moisture creeping northward. So even if you have partly sunny skies, I think South Bay is going to go mostly cloudy with some light rain, and Santa Cruz Mountains as well, maybe the peninsula, because there's just that moisture is wrapping back around that low, and it's just too tough to say not going to happen. If you're north, you get a lot of sun breaks, as Andre mentioned. Will it last? If you're north, I think so. If you're south, I don't think so. There's a lot of moisture that has to rotate around that low, and some of the projections today aren't that bad. But boy, they start to really ramp up over the weekend, especially Saturday night into Sunday. And then another system will come in from the north on Monday to up the totals for the areas to the north. But this is one of those patterns. When it's a rain year, you better go with it. If it's a dry year, I'd say it won't matter, but it's not. It's a rain year. So we get some 60s on the temps, cloudy with some light rain possible, especially south-north. Looks pretty good. All right, Sal is here. Much better today. 801 thinning out. Still the same. What?
It's thinning out, and I think what's going to happen is going to thin out even more. I'm starting in the South Bay because we've had a little slow traffic there. Not a lot, but a little. But I noticed this with the Bay Bridge, and you know I've been doing this for a day or two. It is backed up, but it's getting better, and I can tell it's getting better. And if you wait maybe a half hour, it'll be really much better. Maybe if you wait 10 minutes, it'll be better. So that's what's happening at the Bay Bridge with no major problems. The weather is cooperating, and we're having a better commute. 8:02, let's get back to the headlines.
And straight to a developing story in Oakland here, where people continue to leave flowers and candles outside the Laney College field office. That's where the school's longtime former football coach and athletic director, John Beam, was shot just before noon yesterday.
Allie Rasmus is here now with more on the story. Allie?
Well, we can see a single bouquet of beautiful white flowers here left outside the athletic field offices here at Laney College. That field office is where this shooting happened. It's just past this locked gate over my shoulder here. There are generations of athletes that John Beam mentored over his decades-long career as an educator, coach, and most recently athletic director of Laney College. And when many of them heard the news yesterday that their mentor and friend had been shot and critically injured, they rushed to Highland Hospital. The latest information we have on Beam's condition is that he was seriously wounded in the shooting and remains in critical condition. Now, this happened yesterday just before noon at the Laney College field office we just showed you. That's where the school's athletic offices are located and where Beam worked as the school's athletic director. Beam was the only person struck by the gunfire. Oakland police say a single suspect, described only as a man wearing a black hoodie, fled the scene. Before he retired as head football coach, Beam was featured in the Netflix documentary series Last Chance U. The show followed Beam and some of the Laney College football players he coached throughout their season, sharing their struggles and triumphs. Beam gained national acclaim through that show, but the people who knew him and considered him their mentor here in Oakland number in the dozens. KTVU sat down with some of them to talk about Beam's impact on this city. Former Police Chief LaRon Armstrong worked with Beam over many years to help his players find jobs as Oakland police officers. Many of them did. Armstrong spoke about Beam's impact.
What was really special about him was his belief in young men, giving people second chances. So many students that, had made mistakes or had challenges in their background, Coach Beam would give them an opportunity, and he knew how to speak to them.
Our only purpose as parents and coaches is to make the next generation better, and he's done it over and over and over again. There's really no description for someone that didn't give birth to you that made sure that you had everything you needed. And that's Coach Beam.
Beam's storied career spans more than 45 years right here in Oakland. He was a football coach at Skyline High School. He and his team won 15 league championships, and he helped more than 100 players reach the Division I level. Then in 2004, Beam headed to Laney College as a running back coach. He was promoted to head coach of the football team in 2012. And as head coach at Laney College, he led the team to 2 league titles and 4 bowl games. Beam retired as head football coach here at Laney College just last year, and he'd been working as the school's athletic director since then. Oakland police are asking for the public's help with this investigation. So far, no arrests have been made, and we're hoping to get an update on the investigation from Oakland police sometime today. Live in Oakland, Allie Rasmus, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
Allie, thank you. 8:05 your time. San Francisco Supervisor Bea Alcaraz has now agreed to resign at least. So we After Mayor Daniel Lurie appointed her to the board, the mayor asked her to step down yesterday after several days of questions about her political qualifications and her management of a pet store she owned until recently in the Sunset. The San Francisco community newspaper Mission Local obtained text messages indicating she allegedly paid some of those pet shop workers under the table to avoid paying taxes. Mayor Lurie released this statement that says, in part, quote, "In Supervisor Alcaraz, I saw someone with deep roots in the Sunset who cares deeply about healing a divided community. I admire her commitment and willingness to raise her hand to serve just as much as I respect her decision to step aside in the best interest of her neighborhood."
Even though the federal government has just reopened, the effect of the shutdown could have an effect on community food banks nationwide. They're still under tremendous pressure to keep up with the demand for food leading up to the holiday season. The director of one food bank in Sacramento says the number of people seeking help climbed dramatically during the shutdown.
Holidays are approaching. We know families need our support even more. When you add the government shutdown and delayed CalFresh benefits, we're seeing just extraordinary numbers of people experiencing food insecurity.
One East Bay lawmaker and former Berkeley mayor notes there was a tremendous need for food assistance in California even before the government shutdown.
Hunger in California has been increasing even before H.R. 1 and the shutdown, and it's just going to get worse. And so how can we as a state get ahead of this and make sure that we can make the critical investments to make sure nobody goes hungry in our state?
State Senator Arreguín says California lawmakers are stepping up their effort to help feed the hungry during the holiday season.
President Donald Trump has been getting criticism from his supporters and more for his big spending during the government shutdown. His costly White House ballroom remodel comes while Americans continue to struggle to pay their bills. He also hosted big money dinners for wealthy donors for his ballroom project and held a huge Halloween party at the White House. He also had given another country multi-billion-dollar bailouts as Americans struggled during the shutdown. The spending has sparked a rift in the president's supporters who helped him win re-election last year. Support among Republicans has dropped from 81% in March to about 68% today.
FEMA is giving Sonoma County homeowners along Todd Creek 90 days to give input on proposed flood maps, which would be an alternative to FEMA's own proposals. It could change which homeowners are required to buy federal flood insurance. The county commissioned the new Todd Creek revised flood insurance map. It covers about 950 properties near Highway 101 between Santa Rosa and Rohnert Park. It counters FEMA's map, which the county claims overpredicts flood risk, requiring too many people to buy insurance. Now the county wants to file appeals with FEMA based on its own map.
They don't have the funds to go into the amount of detail that it requires to get it as accurate as possible. The county, having that localized experience, was able to collect more of that local data to support a more robust and accurate map. It's case by case, but we're fairly confident that we can map out probably at least 40 of those parcels.
Basic homeowners insurance does not cover flowing water damage, so the county recommends homeowners near Todd Creek get the insurance since the waterway has overflowed in the past.
Time is 8:08, and just as we suspected, the Bay Bridge improved. I can always tell when it's going to do that, and in the next few minutes you're going to see a very light delay, and that's because all the volume is gone. It was a little crowded today. I got to tell you, it was a little crowded, but things are much better. Things are improving on the Richmond Bridge after we had some earlier problems with a stalled vehicle, and we have some slowing on 80. Yesterday, one of our nice viewers said, hey, you need to give the Dumbarton Bridge more love. Absolutely. You can always reach out to me on any social media platform where you find me. I'm relatively easy to find, and send me a DM or whatever you want to do and ask me for something. And today you'll be happy to know that the Dumbarton Bridge looks great. The San Mateo Bridge unfortunately has a crash near the high-rise. We're going to follow up on that and see how serious it actually is, but it's causing some slow traffic. 8:09. Let's get back to the desk.
Thank you, Sal. Raising a child costs about $35,000 a year on average here in the Bay Area. How a growing number of Americans factor the finances of having a family into their decision on whether or not to have children.
And finally, some great news on the injury front for the 49ers. Two starters are returning this Sunday after missing a month of action.
Jacoby and Myers has been a proud part of the California community since 1972. We've stood by our neighbors, helping hundreds of thousands of families get the justice they deserve. Whether it's fighting insurance companies or fighting for you in court, we'll stand up for you. At Jacoby and Myers, we know the stakes: your family, your health, your future. For over 50 years, we've been California's trusted name in legal care. If you've been injured, call us today at 1-800-5-MILLION, because you deserve justice.
Some of the stories we're following here. The U.S. Justice Department has joined a Republican lawsuit to block the new congressional district boundaries approved by California voters last week under Prop 50. Attorney General Pam Bondi said in a statement, California's redistricting is a brazen power grab that tramples on civil rights. Legal analysts expect the state to argue there is no racial component and will seek to have the case dismissed. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem announced a $10,000 bonus for TSA employees who did not skip work during the shutdown. Secretary Noem says the bonus will be paid sometime next week, in addition to back pay, using carryover funds from the 2025 fiscal year. She's faced pushback during the shutdown after the Department of Homeland Security produced videos of the secretary blaming the shutdown on Democratic lawmakers.
Golden State Warrior star Steph Curry ending his partnership with Under Armour and is now an apparel free agent. Curry signed with Under Armour back in 2013, becoming the centerpiece of the company. In a statement, Curry said, in part, quote, Under Armour believed in me early in my career and gave me the space to build something much bigger and more impactful than a shoe. His final shoe with Under Armour, the Curry 13s, will be released in February.
During a season filled with injuries for the 49ers, two of the team's biggest stars are expected to be back in the starting lineup when the Niners play the Arizona Cardinals on the road this Sunday.
Niner head coach Kyle Shanahan announcing yesterday wide receiver Ricky Pearsall will be back, and quarterback Brock Purdy will also return this weekend, leading the team's offense. Purdy has missed most of this season due to the turf toe injury he suffered in the season opener against the Seattle Seahawks in September. The Niners' regular starting quarterback then attempted to play with a steel insert in his shoe in week 4, which only worsened the injury. 6 weeks later, Purdy says he is now eager to get back on the field.
In a really good spot. Best that I felt this year, since hurting it. And, when you play the sport, that's just the case. You know, the guys are going to play a little banged up or dealing with certain things, and a lot of times you'll even hear what guys are dealing with, but they're just, you know, going about their business and playing and doing what it takes.
Purdy also had high praise for his backup QB, Mac Jones, who played a major role in the 49ers' current winning record of 6-4 going into Week 11. Pearsall is also expected to be back Sunday, and he shares Purdy's excitement to be back in action after being sidelined for the past 6 weeks due to a knee injury.
You look how, you know, PCLs recover, especially for like skilled guys like me, playing receiver, having to cut off this leg, you know, doing speed cuts, stuff like that. I mean, it's not an easy process just to turn around in a week and come back.
Well, the 49ers are coming off their 42-26 loss to the LA Rams last Sunday, which was one of their biggest defeats of the season. The Red and Gold now hope to turn things around this Sunday against another NFC West divisional rival. And you can watch the 49ers battle the Arizona Cardinals right here on KTVU Fox 2. Kickoff is Sunday afternoon at 1:05.
New this morning, a new survey finds a growing number of Americans say raising children is unaffordable, and that's contributing to a drop in the birth rate. A Brigham Young University study found finances and inflation are the major factors in determining family size. 7 in 10 adults say they can't afford to raise children, a 13% jump from last year. The research found most parents say finances are a key factor in whether or not they decide to have children or limit the size of their families. The Santa Rosa City School District says it has to make huge cuts or face a possible state takeover. The district's been holding meetings to discuss the financial outlook. The school board needs to cut nearly $3 million by June, then another $23 million for the next school year. Speakers at this week's meeting included teachers and parents who blamed the budget problems on years of mismanagement within the district.
Teachers here are paid 11% less than the state average. That means most districts pay better and balance their budgets. Your underpaid and overworked teachers didn't create this mess. The bloated and unaccountable district office did.
The district is looking at teacher and staff layoffs. The first notices could go out in February.
It's 8:17, and we're looking at the Dumbarton and the San Mateo Bridge. The good news on that San Mateo Bridge thing is that the bridge crews got out there rather quick and have let traffic pass. So the backup approaching this crash near the high-rise is not as big as it was, and it's getting better. And I tell you, those bridge crews on these bridges, these Caltrans people, are very fast. They get out there quickly, and that's really helping. This is a look at the Bay Bridge Toll Plaza. It's improved quite a bit. I like what I'm seeing here. It's perfect compared to what we had yesterday. I would say this all day long. Yesterday, of course, we had a backup that stretched into the 10 o'clock hour. Oops. I keep hitting that camera hoping that it will be cleared up, but it's not. The Highway 24 camera is fogged in, and I'll show you that in Marin County on the major freeways we're doing okay. On Shoreline Highway, though, near Mill Valley, we've had a crash there just off the freeway. It is not on the freeway, so the freeway traffic itself is doing okay. 8:18, let's go back to the desk. Oop,
you forgot me
let's
already.
Let's go back to
so
Steve.
That's all right. Not a problem. All right, we have 2 forecasts here today. I think one north will be okay. The one east and south, cloud cover is already beginning to race in here. We talked about some of this moisture coming up from the south. You can see it already in the Monterey area, Santa Clara Valley, and now it's inching towards the Altamont Pass, Fremont. Look at this, Tracy, East Bay. So here we go. This moisture sneaking up. This is always challenging forecast. It's just rotating around that low, and there's just so much moisture. The most rain we thought would be in the Santa Cruz Mountains, and it was. Sometimes you see things and they happen. Ben Lomond, 5 1/3. Bonnie Doon had almost 4.5 inches of rain. Camp Meeker, which is in the Russian River, over 4. That was impressive. West Healdsburg, 3.5. Cazadero over 3. Canocti almost 3. Mount Veeder, 2.58. And Santa Rosa had 2 1/4. Mount Tamalpais had 3. Pretty good rainfall across the board in Marin County. San Rafael, Woodacre, Fairfax, and Sausalito all between 2 and almost 2.5. South City, I should add, had over 2 inches of rain. That's a lot of rain around the SFO South City area. San Francisco had 1.25 inches. This is the moisture that's streaming northward. 50s on the temps. Had some patchy fog out there. That'll be a bigger issue once we clear everything up. We can't clear everything out. There's just too much moisture rotating around. So today be light rain, nothing too heavy, but light, maybe a steady rain. But look what happens here as we go into Saturday night, and then look at this coming up from Saturday night into Sunday, and then another system from the north sweeps in Sunday night into Monday. And there are some big-time totals being advertised by some of the forecast models over the next 7 to 10 days. Almost too much here, but we'll see how this all evolves. But I think we're in a wet pattern here for a majority of the month here. A more quiet storm today, though, but rain possible, mainly south and east. I think north you're all right. 60s on the temps, but a lot of cloud cover coming in, especially over the weekend, Santa Clara Valley, San Jose area.
Steve, thank you. Could seniors be shortchanged as a result of the AI boom? How insurance companies seeking to fund retirement plans could factor into costly AI data centers.
And here's your Friday roundup of events you won't want to miss this weekend. In San Francisco today, the Music Expo is running through tomorrow at the Midway. Artists, songwriters, producers, DJs, and more can meet and connect here. It starts at 1 p.m. Also today in the city, a night market is taking place on Norton and Harrington Streets. The theme is K-pop and will feature local food, vendors, and live bands and dances as well. That starts 5 p.m. And in the East Bay, a secret bike party is taking place where riders wear different costumes and ride with music. Riders usually meet at the East Bay BART station at 7:30 p.m. We'll be right back. It's 4 minutes after 8. We're getting new information about how the current economy is affecting working families in particular.
Pam Cook upstairs here with a look at this and more in dollars and cents.
Yes, tough times to report about this. I just received a new report from resumetemplates.com. Their site shows 2/3 of people they surveyed who already work full-time are taking on extra work this holiday season in order to pay for gifts, holiday meals, and travel. That report also says about 1/3 of people surveyed say that they are struggling more this year because of the loss of government benefits during the shutdown. As that opening bell rang this morning, the selling continued on Wall Street, especially for those tech stocks. The Dow hit a new high this week, crossing 48,000 for the first time, but it dropped more than 400 points when that opening bell rang this morning. Just a little bit of history and trivia for you. We've been talking about this morning. On this date, back in 1972, the Dow closed above 1,000 for the first time. So now, 47,000 as we take a live look. It has come back from those initial losses, cut that initial loss when the bell rang in about half. It's still down about 218 points or so there. The S&P 500 and the NASDAQ have both turned positive. I mentioned earlier, analysts are saying really when there's a tech sell-off, there's also a buying opportunity, as a lot of those tech companies are still really reporting some pretty good fundamentals. The world's tech giants expected to invest trillions of dollars in AI in the years ahead, and a new survey by Morgan Stanley found America's retirees could end up footing some of that bill. It found insurance companies seeking to fund retirement plans could soon be called on to reduce the growing debt tied to costly AI data centers. Bond money could shift from retirees' insurance to help fund and maintain the growing AI boom. TikTok and Amazon Music announced a new partnership to make it easier to connect people to their favorite songs. Amazon Music will add a Share to TikTok button that allows users to share songs, playlists, and their own personal listening highlights to the social media app. Spotify and Apple Music already have a similar sharing agreement. It will also allow TikTok users to save music they discover on social media to their Amazon Music playlists. And toy makers are getting in on the blind box trend leading up to the holidays. Blind boxes, or mystery boxes, became popular with toys like Labubu's, where consumers don't know which version of a series they got until they open the box. Target is expanding blind box options, and analysts expect them to be a big seller because they do appeal to adults and kids. Other collectibles like Pokemon trading cards are also popular this year. I'm Pam Cook. That's Look at Your Dollars and Cents.
Pam, thank you. Shutdown, pain, and political gain. The award being promised to some TSA workers, and why critics call it damage control.
Digging the tunnels for them, and it's just everything they used to tell me to do, I used to do. And this was my way to kind of survive.
From total darkness to pure joy, a former hostage of Hamas shares his survival tactics during an ordeal that started at the very beginning of the Israel-Hamas war. After 1 week on the job, a newly appointed San Francisco supervisor is out. the text messages that sparked the change at the request of the mayor. Then California voted to draw new district lines. Now the Justice Department wants to stop that. Live analysis on a battle over congressional maps and power. Next.
From KTVU Fox 2 News, this is Mornings on 2.
Good morning and welcome back. I'm Gassia Mikhaelian.
I'm Andre Sr. It is Friday, November 14th, and the sun is out this morning. Far cry than what we had from yesterday. Steve Paulson, he's been tracking all of the unsettled weather across the Bay Area, and he's here to give us an update. Hey, Steve.
I think we have two forecasts, one north, pretty good, one south, a lot of clouds. But we want to look at some of the totals here. South City, 2.08. That is a tremendous amount for South City. Oakland, 1.5 inches. San Francisco, 1.25 inches. And San Jose Airport, I think we have to go tap the rain gauge again. That classic overshadowing, but just south of the airport, 0.91. Santa Clara had over 1 inch of rain, so I tend to buy the 0.91 more than the SJC. There's a lot of moisture coming up south to north, and therein lies, I mean, if you're East Bay, South Bay, Santa Clara Valley, it just can't get around there. There's too much cloud cover coming up and maybe some light rain. It looks more bullish, if you will, as we head towards late Saturday, Sunday. There's some big totals being advertised for them. Not North Bay, though. I think you'll have to wait until Sunday night, Monday. Morning sun, clouds late. Sun north, clouds south, and maybe some rain south. Could even sneak in towards Livermore and the Altamont Pass. Mix of low clouds and sun, but clouds increasing to the south. 50s on the temps. They haven't really budged all morning long. A lot of rain in Southern California, Central California, and some of that will sneak in here. You can see not a lot today. It could be a little bit, mainly east and south. But watch what happens Saturday night into Sunday morning. That would be a tremendous amount if it verifies. Then the next system to the north will sweep in Sunday night into Monday. That'll be a colder system, but a more quiet storm today. Mix of sun and clouds, but rain possible. Santa Clara Valley, San Jose, parts of the East Bay, but 60s on the temps. All right, South here. It's 8:32. I think things are okay. Yes? No? Maybe?
Yeah, they're getting better for sure, Steve. That's what we like to see, especially on a Friday. You look at Interstate 80. It certainly is crowded, but it is better and way better than yesterday at this time. Bay Bridge has cleared out, which is nice because it is Friday and also because the weather's cooperating. And our East Bay commute is still rather filled in. Southbound 680 near the Stone Valley exit, there's a crash. So there's going to be some slowing on 680 heading into Alamo. And also that crash on the San Mateo Bridge is completely cleared out and the South Bay commute is getting better. 8:32. Let's go back to the desk.
Sal, thank you. San Francisco Mayor Daniel Lurie is now searching for a new supervisor to represent the Sunset District.
His first appointment for the spot abruptly resigned this week. James Torres is live in the Sunset with the criticisms facing Bea Alcaraz and her decision to step down. James, good morning.
And good morning to you, too. At that appointment, Bea Alcaraz was set to become one of the youngest supervisors to serve on the board and the first Filipino-American to do so as well. But now, some text messages between her and the new owners of a pet shop that she handed off are coming to light that is painting her in a bad picture and forcing her to step down. This reporting coming from Mission Local and the SF Standard. The new owners of her pet shop accusing Alcaraz of leaving the store in bad shape with full of dead mice, and they say Alcaraz also admitted to paying employees under the table and taking other measures to cut down on her taxes. As she resigned, she released this statement saying, in part, "I believe that my community deserves someone who will work 24/7 to advocate for us, and I understand that today's news stories would distract me from doing that." Alcaraz was appointed by Mayor Daniel Lurie to replace the recalled Joel Engardio. He says he respected her will to step up to the role just as much as he now respects her ability to step aside. His statement says, in part, "She and I agreed, as we always have, that the Sunset deserves a supervisor who is fully focused on serving the community. We also agreed that the new information about her conduct while running her small business, which I learned today, would be a significant distraction from that work." Well, this morning we're talking to some people who live in the Parkside and Sunset districts. They say they are now questioning Lurie's vetting process.
It's very strange. I'm curious how Lurie made his decision, because it sounds like she just met him at the night market and that was all the qualification he needed.
The mayor also went on to say that he regrets not doing more to make sure that Alcaraz could succeed. But now it's up to the mayor to yet again appoint someone else to that District 4 seat. There is no telling how soon until that will happen, nor who that candidate could possibly be. Of course, we'll let you know when it does happen. We're live this morning in San Francisco. I'm James Torres, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
James, thank you. California's new congressional map is sparking a federal lawsuit by Republicans, raising questions about representation, politics, and the future of the state's role in Washington. Let's turn to Ken Miller, professor of government at Claremont McKenna College, to explain what's at stake. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks, and good morning.
Good morning. Democrats could pick up 5 seats here as a result of Prop 50, which passed easily. The Trump administration says the map is a racial gerrymander designed to favor Latino votes, goes against the Constitution. What's the Republicans' case here?
Being discriminated against under Proposition 50, but the Supreme Court has taken that argument off the table, saying that the federal Constitution does not restrict a state's ability to draw district lines to disadvantage one political party or the other, as Democrats have successfully done in California and as Republicans did in Texas. So what's left for the Republicans to argue in this case is that there was racial discrimination or racial gerrymandering under Proposition 50. And I think that's going to be a very difficult case for them to make, but that's the only thing they can sort of hang their hat on.
And the racial gerrymandering is focused on Latinos, according to Republicans.
Yeah, so in the lawsuit, the Republicans and now the Justice Administration under President Trump have said that the map was designed to advantage Latino votes and explicitly to do so. But the standard is not whether that happens. That can happen for race to be taken into consideration in drawing district lines. And in fact, under current federal law, under the Voting Rights Act, race has to be taken into consideration in drawing district lines to prevent what's called racial dilution of vote on the basis of race. And so the line drawers, both under the commission and the Democratic line drawers under Prop 50, did take race into consideration. But the new map is not appreciably different than the commission's map with respect to advantage to Latinos in the state.
Governor Newsom was a driving force behind Prop 50 after similar measures by Texas Republicans. As you know, there's a lawsuit in Texas by Democrats as well. Should we expect both cases to have similar outcomes?
Well, the outcomes are possibly different. I think that both challenges will have difficulty succeeding. It's probably a little bit easier for the Texas Democrats to make the case under current Voting Rights Act law because the Republican maps in Texas are more likely to have diluted minority voting strength. What the Republicans have to argue in California is that in compliance with the Voting Rights Act, the district lines took race too much into account and in that way violated the Equal Protection Clause. Now that's an emerging theory. There's actually a challenge to the Voting Rights Act currently pending before the U.S. Supreme Court coming out of Louisiana. And it could be in the future that the Voting Rights Act will be declared unconstitutional and so that race cannot be taken into consideration in the way that it is now. But under current law, I think the Texas maps are possibly more vulnerable than California's, but I'd be surprised if either map is declared in violation of the Voting Rights Act or unconstitutional.
Okay, we could get an answer on Texas soon. A 3-judge panel is set to rule after a hearing on the issue last month. That's our time for the issue at this point. Ken Miller, professor of government at Claremont McKenna College, thank you for your time and your insight this morning.
Thank you very much.
Of course. A former Israeli hostage who spent more than 500 days in captivity is sharing his story. Omer Shem Tov was held captive by Hamas for 505 days, was taken from the Nova Music Festival on October 7th of 2023. He says he was kept in tunnels, given little to no food, and forced to work for Hamas. He says his faith and family give him strength through his time in captivity.
It was 120 feet underground. It was a small cell that I couldn't stand up inside of, and I couldn't spread my arms out. I was in complete darkness. There are days that I'm breaking completely. But the thing that kept me mostly strong is my family, you know, knowing that they're home, they're waiting for me.
He says he had to cook and clean for his captors and do anything else they wanted. Hundreds came to see him speak at an event in Sacramento yesterday. He was released and reunited with his family as part of a ceasefire hostage exchange.
It is 20 minutes to 9 o'clock right now. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem announced a $10,000 bonus for TSA employees who did not skip work during the shutdown. Secretary Noem says the bonus will be paid sometime next week in addition to back pay using carryover funds from the 2025 fiscal year. She has faced pushback during the shutdown after the Department of Homeland Security played videos of the secretary blaming the shutdown on Democrats in Congress. Tahoe's winter dreams taking a hit with some ski resorts having to adjust opening day due to little snow. We check in with Heavenly Ski Resort for an update on how conditions are looking this morning.
And our One Warm Coat drive is well underway. You can help make sure people in need stay warm this winter. If you're able to donate a new or gently worn coat, please scan the QR code on your screen. You can also head to KTVU.com for a long list of participating drop-off locations. Our One Warm Coat drive runs until December 14th.
Investigators from the Department of Justice visited the UC Berkeley campus following protests Monday night. They are investigating claims that protesters attempted to interfere with the Turning Point USA event. The Trump administration called in the FBI and U.S. Attorney as part of its mission to crack down on political violence.
Whether you're on the conservative end of the spectrum or the liberal end of the spectrum and anywhere in between, we're here to protect your right.
Federal officials cited flyers around campus and posts online as evidence protesting groups were trying to suppress free speech at the conservative event organized by the group founded by the late Charlie Kirk.
We're hearing from Democrats at the nation's capital upset that the United States is not being represented at the COP30 climate summit in Brazil. Congresswoman Nancy Pelosi is among a group of lawmakers criticizing the Trump administration and Republicans for not attending this year's summit. They say America's absence from the climate conference sends the wrong message at a time U.S. leadership matters most across the world.
The world continues to understand the difference between Donald Trump and the American people. Climate action from America continues even this week in Brazil. There's a reason that my governor, Gavin Newsom, is being welcomed as kind of a rock star in Brazil this week. The world still needs and wants American leadership.
The Trump administration criticized the climate summit, calling it a hoax.
Well, a live look at Heavenly Ski Resort, where it is snowing this morning, but recent days, snowfall got a reality check as a recent storm turned mellow in the Sierra. While some ski resorts are pushing back opening day, operators across the Sierra continue to prepare for visitors. So this morning, we're checking in with Heavenly Ski Resort. Cole Zimmerman, Senior Communications Manager for the Tahoe region at Vail Resorts, joins us with what you can expect this ski season. Thank you so much for joining us, Cole, this morning.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
All right, so we have that winter weather advisory in effect for the Greater Lake Tahoe area above 8,000 feet. That's going to go on till, noon today. So that's pretty exciting, at least.
Yeah, absolutely is. Like, the forecast is looking pretty good for us. We need some cold weather. We need some precipitation, but mostly just that cold weather. We've got our snowmaking teams up top right now. They're ready to rip. They just got to flip a switch, and they're going to be making a lot of snow for us. So we're still focused on that November 21st opening date here at Heavenly. That's a week from today, so we're hoping Mother Nature cooperates with us here.
All right, so, if something were to go wrong, what do you do to adjust if you couldn't open on that day?
Yeah, we're going to open as soon as we possibly can. Like I said, we're still laser focused on next Friday for that opening date. But if that doesn't work out for us, we'll still have our gondola sightseeing available. We'll still have our mountain coaster available over in the village. And we'll just take it day by day, keep monitoring the weather. And like I said, we're going to open as soon as we possibly can.
So no need to be a little nervous. There'll be something going on up there either way, right?
Absolutely. There'll be something going on. Like I said, gondola sightseeing, awesome to just be able to get up on the gondola, maybe have a relaxing ride up there, take in the views of the lake. And then the mountain coaster at the top, it's something we run in the summer, and we're going to run it year-round as conditions allow here into the winter as well. So there'll be something going on for the whole family.
All right, and what are the conditions like driving up right now? We had that storm that just moved through to the Sierra right now. So what are you hearing in terms of travel?
Yeah, absolutely. Things are looking okay down here at the base. It's mostly rain and water, but up top is where we're getting that snow. It sounds like you had those webcams up, so we're excited to be getting a couple inches up top right now. But obviously just taking it slow, right? Those temperatures are dropping a little bit. It's going to be wet around the base area and on the roads here. So just ensuring you're taking it slow, being safe, and we want to get you here sliding around on snow as soon as possible. So hopefully that's next Friday.
And Cole, one last question. I know you got your workers up there ready to go. Yeah, give us a little behind the scenes of the preparations. I know the snowmaking guys are getting ready to flip that switch, but what about the behind the scenes? Because you go in there, you rent your ski equipment. So how's that looking right now?
Yeah, totally. All of our teams are ready to go. We're ready to rock and roll. All the departments, it takes a whole village here to be able to get this place up and going, from our ski and ride school getting ready to give lessons to our retail shops ready to rent your skis, ready to get you on the mountain. Our pass shop, our Epic passes are still on sale, and you'll be able to kind of get different options based on what your skiing style is. If you're only trying to ski 1 to 7 days, you have your Epic Day Pass. If you're trying to ski the whole season, Tahoe Local Pass and Epic Pass. So, like I said, all departments ready to go, ready to rip. We're excited to have people back here pretty soon.
Those pictures that we're showing right now make me miss that area. Getting ready to go up there for the season. Cole Zimmerman, thank you so much. Before we say goodbye, though, we have a KTVU member there with you today, Devin Truby. How you get so lucky, Devin?
Good to see you, Devin.
This is our 4th ski season together now.
Yeah, it is. We're excited to have you back. Always stoked to have you back at Heavenly.
Well, skiing and snowing is super fun, but we're also going to focus today on the safety aspect, talk about avalanche preparedness.
Absolutely.
Get everything ready so you guys have all the information you need for a very safe ski season as well.
Yeah, we'll have our patrol team ready to talk with you, and excited to do that story as well.
And Cole, you kind of forgot something important.
Oh, yeah, it's our 70th anniversary this season. So we were established back in December of 1955. I've got the merch on here. You might be able to see the signs behind me, too. We started in 1955 with 1 chairlift and a couple rope tows. Look at where we are today. It's pretty incredible. We've got a ton of great events coming up, a 70th anniversary party, a lineup of awesome DJs. We're just excited to celebrate with everybody.
Oh, that looks awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Come join us.
Yeah, Devin. And grab me that merch hat, too, while you're at it. All right, thank you, Devin Truby and Cole Zimmerman. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. And, Devin, we'll see you when you get back here with that story. All right, and with the winter weather on the way in the mountains, we've been asking, what's your favorite activity in the snow? And right now, 50% of you say hanging out at the lodge. 30% of you say skiing, 12% of you say snowboarding, 8% of you say sledding. Although, if there were a lot of kids watching the show, I'm sure that number would be up a lot higher. Scan the QR code in the top right-hand corner of your screen and go to ktvu.com/vote. Let us know what you think.
All right, I think you're going to like this traffic report. Right now, things are getting much better all over the place. Let's go to the Bay Bridge first. You can see it is cleared out, and traffic looks good. Highway 4 and 680 are a little slow still. The crash we had in Alamo has been cleared, and we have some slowing approaching the Richmond Bridge. Slow here and there, but much better than yesterday, and sort of Friday light in many areas. 8:50, let's bring Steve back with today's weather.
All right, Sal, almost two forecasts. If you're west and north, a little more sun. If you're east and south, a little more in the way of some high clouds. We'll mention Santa Clara Valley here. This is the focus of the next couple of days here. Moisture streaming north, sun on the San Mateo coast and a lot of sun to the north, but that cloud cover is increasing East Bay as well out to the valley, and no doubt about it around Santa Cruz, Santa Clara Valley. There's a fine line there, but some areas get the sun, others don't, and you can see right there San Jose getting a little bit of that sun over to Oakland, but some areas are already starting to get cloudy, especially east and south. 50s on the temps here. The system will continue to rotate in a lot of moisture here. I think late Saturday afternoon, Saturday night into Sunday will be a time to watch here. There could be signs of a lot of moisture and some pretty good rainfall coming up, especially late Saturday and early Sunday. North Bay should be fine, but then Sunday night, the next system comes in for you. That will be a colder system. If you want to mention on snow, that looks much more promising for next week. Boy, there's some big-time totals being shown here over the next 7 to 10 days, that's for sure. More of a quiet storm today, mix of sun and clouds. Some rain possible, mainly south and east. Temps near average. They've actually been so far above. They're coming down now 60s where they should be.
Steve, thank you much. It is 8:52, a major problem at California colleges when you join us on the 9. Why more and more freshman students are way behind when it comes to math, and what University of California campuses are doing to help students catch up.
A new development to share in a deadly road rage investigation in Castro Valley. Police say a man taken into custody was released from jail yesterday pending further investigation. The family of 49-year-old Jason Ilola says he was attacked Saturday night outside the Castro Valley BART station. His wife said a driver cut them off, then rammed their car from behind. The family says Ilola got out of the car and there was an altercation. He suffered a head injury and died.
8:55 tonight, hundreds of people will gather in Santa Rosa for the annual High Heels for Hope fundraiser. It supports the Zane Templin Foundation and its mission to spread awareness around mental health challenges. The foundation was started by the family of Zane Templin of Santa Rosa. He was 24 years old when he died by suicide in 2016. Tonight's gala features a dinner, live auction, and dancing.
There are still people who are fearful about stepping forward to share their experiences of mental health conditions because they don't want to be judged or they feel shamed or blamed because of it. And that's part of our work, is making clear that there is no blame. Mental health conditions don't happen because somebody did something wrong.
Well, tickets are still available. KTVU's Heather Holmes will be there as the event's MC. A reminder, if you or someone you know is in crisis, you can call or text the National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline at 988. It's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. New research finds a link between stress and Alzheimer's disease. The CDC has been warning long-term stress can increase the risk of high blood pressure, heart disease, and stroke. Well, now new research from Pennsylvania State University reveals stress could lead to Alzheimer's and dementia. Doctors say reduced blood flow in the brain is a main characteristic found in people affected.
This is a sort of a good motivator to try to keep the stress in your life under control.
While studying the brain activity of mice, researchers discovered a rare neuron helped regulate blood flow in the animals' brains.
Medical researchers at Stanford have determined one of the most common viruses in the world could cause lupus. They've linked the disease to the Epstein-Barr virus, which 95% of people acquire at some point in their lives. The research found the same virus could cause lupus by driving the body to attack its own healthy cells. Lupus affects some 200,000 Americans and can cause serious health issues, including organ damage. Lupus can be mild or life-threatening. There is no cure.
Tesla is recalling thousands of Powerwall backup battery systems. The Consumer Product Safety Commission says the battery can malfunction, causing overheating and potentially start a fire. Tesla reports 22 overheating incidents and 5 fires, but no injuries. The batteries were sold from November of 2020 to December of 2022. Customers are told to check the Tesla app to see if their battery is included in the recall.
Golden State Warriors star Stephen Curry is ending his partnership with Under Armour. Curry signed with Under Armour back in 2013, becoming the centerpiece of that company. In a statement, Curry said, in part, Under Armour believed in me early in my career and gave me the space to build something much bigger and more impactful than a shoe. I'll always be grateful for that. His final shoe with Under Armour, the Curry 13, will be released in February. San Jose Earthquakes legend Chris Wondolowski has been elected to the National Soccer Hall of Fame. In 2021, the soccer star wrapped up a 17-year MLS career. Wondolowski is the league's all-time scorer with 171 goals. He played in 413 MLS matches through this career. He was named the league's MVP, secured 2 Golden Boots, and appeared in 5 MLS All-Star games. He currently serves as the Quakes Under-23 Individual Development Programming Head. Wondolowski is a Danville native. He'll be inducted into the Hall of Fame May 1st of next year at a ceremony in Frisco, Texas. A quick break and a peek outside on a much calmer weather day. No rain coming at this point on this Friday morning, but there is still weather change ahead. Stay with us as Mornings on 2 to 9 starts right here on KTVU Fox 2 in just 60 seconds.